Welcome to Film Shapes.
The podcast.
Sorry, that was a bit of a lazy intro, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
You got your toothbrush?
Check.
Do you have your deodorant?
Check.
Do you have your cozy clothes?
Got that.
What?
Do they know I'm black?
Today we're going to talk about Get Out. This is a 2017 social drama / horror directed by Jordan Peele, starring Daniel Kaluuya, Catherine Keener, Caleb Landry Jones, a few other folk, Alison Williams, I think. And, well, let me just give a brief synopsis. Kaluuya plays Chris, a black photographer who goes to his rich white girlfriend's parents' home for the weekend, and then lots of stuff happens. Now, what do you reckon?
A good film, good genre film, generally.
Yeah.
A little bit formula, maybe.
Well, here's the problem. I don't watch these types of films that often.
Neither do I.
So for me to say this is like others, I don't know if that's right or not, really.
By the way, are we doing spoiler here?
I think we'll have to. We'll probably have to. In the blog, I won't. So blog above this, it'll just be a bit clean.
I thought the performances were very good, though. Especially the leading man. What the actor's name?
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
Yep.
He did really well, and he brought some actual non-silliness to what at times is a bit of a silly movie.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, it does. I think it changes tack about 2/3 of the way through. It's very creepy and sort of mysterious up to a point, and then it gets all bloody and ridiculous. But
I've got a feeling all these films do that, though.
Well, they probably do, yeah. Unless they start out ridiculous. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, I quite like this. And the thing I like most about this was after watching it, I sort of forgot about it for a bit. Now in the last few days, I've been looking at some notes about it on the internet. And I've been going, yes, isn't that interesting? Oh, I didn't see that before. So it's kind of like you're watching it, even if you don't watch it more than once, you're replaying it when you read all this stuff about it. It's very clever.
There's definitely a bunch of things in there that because I watched it twice.
Did you? Yeah.
Yeah, but there's things in it that you don't get the first time that suddenly when you see it again makes sense. But you never get the opportunity to get it the first time because you don't know what you need to know yet to understand that scene. And then when the movie's finished, the last thing you're going to think about is, the last thing I think about is that little thing that I didn't understand in the film. But when I watched it the second time, it made sense.
Without reading anything about it, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For example?
Well, it's probably an obvious one, but the auction.
Yeah.
The auction thing, that scene I didn't get at all, why they were apparently auctioning off the lead character, Chris.
Yeah, but once you realise that when it was in the operating theatre, right?
Well,
in the film?
Yeah, but I wasn't thinking about the auction scene when we went into the operating theatre on the first watch. Yeah. I had to watch the whole film again, get to the auction scene, and then go,
oh, that's what they were doing.
Oh, that's right. That makes sense now.
Okay.
But by the time you're in the operating theatre, you're just you're in the moment with all the crazy silliness and bloodthirsty kind of stuff.
Can I just take a little tack back for a moment? This film was actually released in Australia in May last year, 2017. I thought it was a bit newer than this, but it had a re-release, I suppose. We saw it at the outdoor cinema, didn't we? So I guess it's one of those sort of festival type showings.
Yeah, it seems to be.
Yeah, and I think it was in the public eye still because it was running for some awards, and it actually won the best original screenplay at the Oscars recently.
Yep.
Which is quite. I mean, you can say it's a deserved award if that means anything, but it's pretty clever screenplay, let's say.
Yeah, sure. I think some of the buzz around this film before seeing it for me was, it really deals with the racial issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then on seeing the film, I was a little bit, well, does it? I thought the racial issue is really kind of a misdirection in this film. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about that at all.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think, like the guy says, he, the art dealer who's the blind art dealer.
Yeah.
Who is going to end up with it was about his eyes. It was not about this race. Whether or not he was a black man didn't matter.
Oh, good point. Yeah. But it did to all the others.
Well, you assume it did, and that was sort of played out. But really, it was more just about them surviving beyond death. They didn't
so
care
it could have been
whether they,
yeah. Well, I read something on IMDb that there was a film from 1990 called, I think, The Immortalizer or something, where this kind of thing happened, but it was old people farming young students of any race or gender.
Okay.
But that didn't have any racial element to it.
I guess,
but in the party scene, right?
Yeah.
He's going, "How's your golf swing? Let me check your swing.
I love
let me
Tiger.
Check.
I love Tiger. They keep bringing it back. It is there, but I guess my argument is it only deals with it really at that surface level of.
Well, they wanted, black is the fashionable thing, or one woman was stroking his muscles and checking if he was, virile enough, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was all in the auction. They were deciding do we want this guy or not? Is he good enough for me?
But to me, that was too crazy to be, that was too off to the right of things to be in any way kind of representing a real society or anything. It wasn't dealing with real issues so much as this kind of overblown.
Yeah, but it's satire.
People.
It's satire. I mean, Animal Farm bunch of pigs. They're not real communists. What's going on here?
I think I always do this with films, don't I? So, but yeah,
no.
It's yeah.
I think it worked.
I was
after
expecting
the fact.
a little more depth with that issue.
Yeah, but it is a genre film.
I wanted it to give me a little new outlook on something, but I don't think it did that.
Okay. I think it worked. I mean, this guy wanted to make a horror film, and he also wanted to comment on, all the shit that had been happening, for African Americans in the US at the time. And he didn't write, I think he wrote this in the Obama administration when all that crap was happening with the kids being shot because they're black kids, that kind of stuff. So, and there's heaps of stuff in there that reflects this. Let me find an example. Oh, yeah. The most interesting one, and I didn't realise this until I read this. When he's after he's killed the deer and they first arrive.
Yeah.
This is an interesting spoiler. Though many people probably noticed this, and I guess I did subconsciously. This guy, the father, is saying, "Oh, you should have. Great, I'm happy you killed that deer." Let me read the quote, and then let me substitute a word. Okay. You know what I say? I say 1 down, a couple of 100,000 to go. Don't mean to get on my high horse, but I'm telling you, I do not like the deer. I'm sick of it. They're taking over. They're like rats. They're destroying the ecosystem.
You're going to replace it with Jew, aren't you?
No. I see a dead deer on the side of the road, and I think that's a start. Okay, well, this guy is talking about blacks.
Okay.
So I do not like the blacks. I see a dead black on the side of the road. Black person.
I thought there might be some historical context to some of that.
There is a bit.
It's very familiar language.
There is a bit. Apparently, black buck, is that what? Yeah, black buck was a slur in post-slavery era America for a black guy who didn't bow to white authority.
Yeah, okay.
So,
all right, yeah, because I was wondering about the symbolism of the deer and what it actually meant, because it didn't make a lot of sense.
At the beginning it didn't,
No,
right? Well,
yeah.
What's all this going? Yeah. And also he of course spears that dude with a deer head at the end.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, they keep bringing it back.
Yeah. But also, this is another thing that I'm not sure about. When the police stopped them after that deer accident, and the cop was going to get Chris's details, even though he wasn't driving, and she was like, no, you don't need that. You don't need that. And, this is just a racist thing. Why are you doing that? He wasn't driving. It's got nothing to do with him. She's not standing up for him there. She's making sure there's no record.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see?
Of course. Of course. She's a sneaky one, isn't she?
Or the cop is involved somehow. Maybe he's one of those.
I got the feeling, though, they were quite a way out of town
Yeah.
before he wasn't
Oh, no,
the
I think
local
it was.
cop.
I don't know, because it was bush. It was sort of bushy area. I think maybe. It's either one of those. She was trying to avoid any paper trail.
But yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah. But it all comes back once you've seen it and you read those. It's cleverly woven in at the beginning. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting when he does go through that deer and they've got that music. The spooky music comes in. It's like, oh, something's going to happen when he looks at this deer.
And then nothing.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good little...
But the use of the music in this movie was pretty blatant.
Yeah.
At times.
Yeah. That the song at the beginning, Rabbit Pie, Run, Rabbit, Run.
Rabbit,
Is that right?
run, rabbit, run.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a World War II song.
Yeah,
apparently.
that was used on an ad for a winery or something recently, a while back. I don't know.
Well, good timing, yeah.
What did you think of the friend, Rod? He's really the comic relief of the film.
Yeah, a little bit. Almost that's another film, I think, with him in it.
He's almost another cliche as well.
Yeah, true. I don't know. He had a good line at the end, you know. That was quite funny. And actually, that end part, when you see the sirens... Sirens? When you see sirens, Rolly.
When you see the sirens.
When you see the flashing lights, you hear the sirens, and you look up, we all think, fuck, now he's in trouble. And then he gets out the car, and it's
I knew it was Rod.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Well,
Well
no,
done.
I thought it was 50-50. I mean, it could have gone either way, but I knew that. I was thinking, is it going to be the friend or is it going to be...
You're an optimist, you see there.
Well, because he's making such a big deal about the TSA. Do you know what the TSA is?
No.
He's airport security, anyway.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what TSA is in America. But,
Transport and something authority.
but he's making a big deal about being that guy, and he's obviously going to come in and save the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't marry that together because he was in the city and then this is hours out of the city. So, sure, yeah, okay. Well, maybe I was thinking from a pessimistic standpoint. The cops are going to bang him up. And that was actually filmed, I think, that the actual cops came to get him and he had to go to prison, which is a bit of a downer, isn't it? But,
well, it is a black man in the middle of a street strangling a white woman, and I think that at that moment as well, that's where maybe the racial thing does hit a little harder there.
Yeah.
Where you're completely on his side.
Yeah,
but yet
right.
you can see the other side of someone just coming across this on the street. And what that looks like is quite different.
Yeah, that's right. Apparently, according to the actress there, Alison Williams, she said that all the white people who spoke to her about this were saying, yeah, but she must have been hypnotised as well. She wasn't, she's a victim too. And she's like, no, of course she's not a fucking victim. She's an evil bitch.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
but... no, we don't know. So it's odd. She said every white person she spoke to brought that up. So.
I hate to, break reality into the world of this film, but
Go on.
that hypnosis thing with the teacup, I don't see it working like that too effectively.
What do you know about hypnosis?
You can't just tap the side of your teaspoon to the cup and have someone collapse. It doesn't work like that.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Well,
I'm pretty sure if you're in survival mode and there's a lady there tapping a teacup, it's not going to stop you breaking through that door.
This is the old. I hate to bring it back to poor Merv and his. Those ships would travel faster than that in space.
But give
maybe
me something more. Give me something more to cling to. Like if he was on drugs, if he'd been drugged.
Okay.
Which maybe there's a case for that. Maybe there's some drugs in there, but that wasn't made obvious.
Yeah.
If there were drugs in there,
But it's a trigger. That ting-ting's a trigger, right? Like he's been...
Yeah.
I
it
wasn't bothered with that.
It works as a kind of plot scripting tool.
Yeah, sure.
Fine, but to keep me in the reality of the film,
Yeah.
rather than have me going, don't know about that.
Oh, I wasn't...
Sorry.
I wasn't bothered. Again, but the things that bother you don't bother me so much. What do you think of The Sunken Place?
Oh, that reminded me of the film. It'll come back to me.
Give me the actor.
No, haven't got it. English director with the famous girl from the Marvel
Scarlett
Scarlett
Johansson?
Johansson.
The English film. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
Under the Skin.
Under the Skin. And I've read
Yeah.
the book as well, but that film...
Jonathan Glazer.
That
Yeah.
scene with the... where he's in the darkness there.
Yes. Right, where she walks into that room and it's all sort of liquidy.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a great film, isn't it?
Yeah, I did like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But, to keep on this film, yeah, I love,
Yeah,
the sunken place made sense.
And that sunken place, what's the meaning of this sunken place, according to the director?
Oh, well, it's this place in the brain, in the eventual brain that's so far in the subconscious that it has no power to... All it can do... Oh, it's described perfectly in the film. You're a passenger.
Yeah.
Someone else is controlling all the motor functions and is getting all the feelings and sensations, but you're really a passenger in their world.
Right, okay. And he's saying that this sunken place is a metaphor, though, for... black society, it's in the white world.
Okay.
So you can scream all you want, you can try and get out, no one's going to listen. It's no use. It's the marginalization.
Well, yeah, when you start looking at it like that, I guess you can.
I did have a. Okay, this maybe you can help me with this one. I did have a little bit of an issue about how can these what's happening technically with this transplant. What's going where?
Well, he describes the base of the brain as being kept, so the original base of the brain, but I think the rest of the brain's pretty much being replaced.
So it's a brain transplant, physical brain transplant.
I think so, yeah.
So the body of the old white people, that's scrapped.
That's gone, yep.
And their brain...
And but they keep the base of the brain, and that's the only part of the original person that's left of the transplant
Yep.
or E.
E. Oh, fuck, it's confusing, isn't it? So the young, strong black person has their own brain is gone except for a small section?
At the base, yeah.
But,
the base of the spine.
Okay.
It's that part, it's like the instinctual part of the brain. It's like the oldest.
This is let me get the correct medical term, the oblong oblongata. Is that right?
Is that what it's called?
No idea. It sounds
not
something
sure if
like
that's
that.
right. Yeah,
Right.
Good point, though.
Okay, was it? Yeah, but that, again, that's a technical issue that we probably don't need to worry about for the sake of plot.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a brain surgeon, or he knows what he's doing, right?
True. Did this? Now you're talking about Under the Skin, which I didn't notice, but any other films you were reminded of, theme-wise? Or?
Not off the top of my head.
Let me punch a few at you. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It's pretty clear.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Have you seen a film also from Edgar Wright called The World's End?
No.
Okay, in that film, the townsfolk... can I spoil another film in this podcast? I almost have, anyway.
Okay, well...
Okay, turn off now if you're not interested in hearing the spoiler for The World's End.
If you're about to watch The World's End.
Yeah. Okay, good. Right, here we go. In that film, the whole townsfolk have been taken over by robot aliens. Something like this. So they're embodied by different things as well, except for that group of guys going on a pub crawl. Also, Rosemary's Baby.
Oh.
Where she's suspicious of everybody because there's something else going on.
Paranoia.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, they have the cult. It's a little bit like the Coagula cult.
Coagula, what a word.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it had and I think Jordan Peele is a horror fan, so he's taken a few of these tropes and put them in here, which is fine.
Okay, so I think I was going to ask you, do you have any other... Well, first of all, and it's probably a bit of a wind-up question, can you have a horror film that isn't silly in some way?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Let me think of a non-silly horror. The Orphanage, a Spanish sort of ghost story.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, the ghosts are ridiculous, right? Of course. So that's silly already.
Yep.
But the way it's treated, I suppose. Do you mean the premise is not silly or the treatment is not silly?
Well, my wife doesn't like horror films.
Sure.
I said, what do you think of that? Mm-hmm. Oh, it was all right. It was a bit silly, but I thought it was going to be like Wolf Creek.
Okay.
I was like, oh, well, there's a horror film that might not be silly, but that's silly as well.
Yeah, of course. But you're looking at two sides of the horror coin, right? You're looking at spooky horror or blood and guts horror,
Yeah.
which I don't even think should really be called horror, should it?
Maybe not. Maybe it's a different thing
That's a
in
different
itself.
genre.
Yeah.
Torture porn or something like that, right?
Yeah.
A non-silly horror film. Let the Right One In?
This is it. Oh, Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
So this is your recommendation
Well,
for...
I don't know if that's... I mean, it's about vampires. So, again, as far as I know, vampires are not real. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. So, anything... Well, so it has to be real-life horror. So that means things that people do to each other. So, in that case, then a kind of gore fest, almost.
Well, then, a violent docudrama or something.
Yeah, right.
There's a new Manson film coming out, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Quentin Tarantino.
Sure. So that might fit into that category of a non-silly horror. I don't know. Classics like the... Okay, what about Jaws? Is that a horror film?
That was extremely silly.
What? It's a shark. They got sharp teeth, man.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the second or third one, where it was just... The rubber shark just looked more and more rubber as it went on.
Yeah, actually, I suppose in the first one
I think we need a bigger boat.
Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Not sure I can... Yeah, they're all a bit... But then sci-fi's silly, fantasy's silly.
Movies are silly. Why are we doing this?
What are we... Yeah. All right. I had so many good little snippets to tell you as well, Rolly.
Oh, well, no, go on.
We
don't have to...
we got time. When she's eating the Fruit Loops at the end and drinking the milk separately, don't mix the colours. Right?
Okay.
Check that one out.
Is this... Let me ask, does this come from the director? Or is this
some of them.
someone online?
Yeah, some of these are purely... Well...
I'm going to take a leap and say you didn't discover this on your own.
Oh, no. This is all mostly IMDb notes from the film.
All right.
Some of these I've thought of myself, but most of them not.
Okay.
Okay. When they go through the kitchen and they say, we like to keep a piece of grandma in here. And,
and
I
picked up on that.
You did?
On the second watch.
Yeah. That's quite a good one. And they say, we hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents.
That's right.
When they died. I couldn't bear to let them go. Let them go? The black people or the parents? Or both? You see.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Another one I didn't notice, Walter in the garden at night when he goes out for a cigarette, when Chris is out there smoking and Walter starts running at him.
Yep.
He's running. Why is this? This is the granddad who came second to Jesse Owens.
He was the runner.
He was the runner. I didn't even pitch... That was explained at the beginning.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else? Oh, and the guys all wear hats, the young black guys, to cover the scars.
Okay.
The woman, Georgina, is sort of putting her hair over her neck to cover scars, perhaps. That's a big perhaps, that one. Don't go down into the basement, Chris. There's a lot of black mould down there.
Black mould, yes. Mold. I heard that on the second one as well.
The first time I heard that, I thought, is he having a bit of a stab at him there?
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course. And
so
finally,
the racial... finally.
The last one, which is quite an interesting one. And this is from the director, I hear. In that, this is a big spoiler. This is how he saves himself, putting fluffy cotton stuff into his ears.
Yeah.
He's picking cotton. Cotton.
Oh, my God.
Eh? Apparently, though, the director wanted that in there to make it a sort of, clear.
He's really thought... Is he a really geeky director, this guy?
Yeah, apparently this is his first directing job, but he's a writer and he's an actor as well.
Do you think maybe he's overthinking it?
No,
it's all good. It's all
because
good.
a lot of this I didn't notice, but maybe...
No, well, that's the thing. Nobody notices.
Yeah, but the second time round you might, or if you read about it, you get a sort of...
Because my impression was,
like
and
an aftertaste.
Obviously those racial tendrils sink a bit deeper than I imagined.
Yeah.
And a lot of thought's gone into it on that level. But,
yeah, sure.
But at the same time, the result, after seeing it twice, was, this didn't really
ultimately
give me any new insight into anything. It'd be nice if a film can do
look,
that. But
look, first and
maybe it
foremost, it's got to engage you. It's got to make you go, oh, that was good fun, right? And I suppose for me, it did that a bit. If it was purely a schlocky kind of mystery turn splatterfest type thing, I would have gone, oh, yeah. Yes. So actually, if the characters were all white, I might have thought, oh, there's not much behind this.
Yeah, yeah.
But being a pretty much social commentary on today's America, it works. It adds something to it, right?
Within the genre.
Within genre, yeah.
That it's chosen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's it.
Yes, nice one.
We've done it.
What's next?
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know yet. We'll find out soon. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
I'm gonna quit.
She'd take care of that for you.
How?
Hypnosis.
I'm good, actually.